Peace to all the gods and goddesses out there in the multiverses. Shout out to your ancestors. Shout out to my ancestors. Shout out to those ancestors that are known. Shout out to the ancestors that are unknown. Positive vibrations to your family, to your lineages. May you be resonating from the frequency of the soul, and generally resonating from the frequency of the whole. Today we are going to reference the sun encroaching into Gemini, referencing sidereal Gemini off of this particular solar eclipse energy. And so solar eclipse conjunct the actual Milky Way is a powerful time to really charge up on spiritual energy. But part of this conversation would be centered in the mythological understanding of Gemini in reference to everyday conversation. So it's a lot of times in conversation that I'm talking to people to which I get that they don't understand astrology, they don't understand sidereal energy, and they don't understand my messaging and my platform, to which I just present a study guide of the sidereal astrological alignments and then reference everyday conversation. So if we would notice the sidereal sun in Aries and all of the energies that corresponded to that, and then we moved into the Taurus energies and all of the corresponding energies to that, one would have an easier grasp upon the sun in Gemini. But if one is just living their normal everyday life, not aware of any celestial influence, thus, or they apply a celestial influence but then skew it 20 degrees ahead, to which they're prepared for energy that they're never fully present in. To which if you studied weather 20 days ahead of time, but you prepared every day, you would never experience the weather that you're seeing the forecast for. To which it makes more sense to get a weather forecast of the sidereal weather or the exact weather, not the astrological or horoscopal weather. So in referencing these particular conversations, we have to develop into an esoteric sense of self, develop an esoteric sense of conversation, to which I understand that people do not understand the things that come out of my mouth, which is disheartening at one level. But my wife, I always remember what my wife has mentioned to me, that I'm not speaking for a present day, I'm speaking for a future time. To which I want you to, if you can understand these messages, please feel free to reach out. Please feel free to build conversations, because there are never enough conversations when you understand yourself as an esoteric being, meaning that you are composed of many different parts. Even your voice is just one part of yourself, one part of your experience, to which the most important understanding that one can have, the most profound understanding that one can have, would be to understand their souls. So the sun goes into Gemini. Before we deal with any person, before we process our mom, before we process our dad, before we build a relationship with boyfriends and girlfriends, we should have a full grasping of our Aries energy, our Taurus energy, our Gemini energy, and our Cancerian energy. We should know our lineages. We should know our connection to our divine source. We should know that we look good as fuck. And we should know where our passions lie. To which we should know when we wake up every morning, this is the thing that's going to get me off. And we should get off on that thing every morning. But if you, once again, listen to the words that I say and don't really listen to what I say, because the combination between soul and ego and shadow are synonymous to you. You haven't fully separated these particular things. You haven't understand what your shadow is like. What feeds your shadow? What feeds your soul? What feeds your ego? You don't understand your passions. You don't understand the communication is not an outward communication. It is an inward communication. And when you establish an inward communication, you have to really listen. You have to really understand what your soul is telling you. So we had 28 days to find our passion. We had 28 days to get grounded in our financial life and our beauty aspect of ourselves. Now we have 28 days to get in contact with our soul. People will listen to this and not listen to this. They'll listen to their baby moms, their dads, their moms, their kids, never fully in tune and listen to their souls. So the best that I could do for anybody is bring about the influences, mainly the sun expressions, the moon expressions, and of course I get into different astrological principles on my channel, but for the most part, I'm very concerned with the moon. Super concerned with this moon, tracking every cycle, every astrological placement to which developing a conversation thereof. So it's not just the moon in Pisces, it's what phase. Is it a waning moon in Pisces? Is it a waxing moon in Pisces? Is it a full moon in Pisces? Is it a new moon? Is it a balsamic moon? Like, let's get into the different conversations and reflections of the phases of the moon and the astrological placements of the moon. Because when we're able to build the conversation, build the cachet of our emotional knowledge, we're able to really communicate effectively in reference to where we are. So, once again, where we are, the sun in Gemini, very important to understand that you have many times to make the same mistakes or learn the actual lessons. Time has a particular function that it doesn't go backwards, but it does move at cycles. So do not fret over not having a passion. Do not fret over not beautifying yourself, but jump on the train and communicate with your soul and overlook your passions, overlook how you look, deal with the sidereal timing of it all. To which, when you deal with the communication of your soul, when you pull into the energies of Cancer, it's very easy then to communicate with your family. Because your family is the next level. They're not the highest level of judgment. They're the lower level of judgment. But if you put your Cancer before your Gemini, thus you are the black sheep, the scapegoat, the negative person, to which you internalize these things the same way as if you put your carriage before your horse and then wanted to go forward, you would thus feel like a stupid person for not going anywhere. To which, if you just understand certain energies, to which when people start talking about the sun in Cancer and you're not at a particular point where you've developed the energy within yourself, you just would get the thing that you think that you want. It happens all the time. It happens every day. People buy cars and sell cars just as they buy them. People buy houses and sell houses. To which people, you ever see a person on Facebook, they just get a job, they showing their office and shit. Not even a month later, they talking about they put their 2 weeks notice in. They can't stand that job. That job too boring. That job that's just a bullshit ass job. Sis, 2 months ago, you was just showing pictures and you had it all decked out and it was so beautiful and you was ready to go to work. Now all of a sudden, meaning that people want things that they think they want. Once they get it, they realize that they don't want it, i.e. your relationships. To which is so simple now for you to get into a relationship, get out of that relationship, that you never even realize the problem. I don't even realize or know what the fuck I want. To which, what is the actual solution? The sun in Gemini, you have a 28-day phase to get in tune with your soul so your soul can tell you what you should have. Different vibration. It's a separation between the things that people is going to tell you. People going to tell you, you're going to need to do this. But if you in tune with your soul you're going to be like, no, the fuck, I don't need to do that. Right? And then you can have different aspects in Gemini that will ring true over the years. And you will look at yourself like, damn, I'm smart as fuck. I knew that I wasn't supposed to do blank. And lo and behold, I wasn't supposed to do blank. Like, it's crazy, but for some odd reason, I stopped wearing deodorant like a long time ago. And that is some crazy ass shit to say until I started doing the study. Then it was like the aluminum and all of this kind of weird shit that be in the deodorant. And at that time when I stopped wearing deodorant, it wasn't like conscious. Where like the deodorant that I have now is tea tree oil, right? Meaning that I knew that I wasn't supposed to be putting on deodorant, and I just dealt with the fact of being musty. I don't know how I did that. I don't know why I was even thinking that. That was some crazy ass shit to even do. I wouldn't even advise nobody to ever do that, but at that time, I'm gonna just break down some Gemini reflections and some Gemini understandings. Sun in Gemini, North Node in Gemini, Moon in Gemini, Saturn in Gemini, just energies in Gemini. Because the thing about Gemini, the thing about Taurus, the thing about Aries, is that most of us, like 100% of us, don't have Neptune, don't have fucking Pluto, don't have Uranus. You don't have these energies in none of these signs. You can have houses, you can have sun, you can have moon, because the times to which you are born, say for instance with Pluto and Aries, it'd be a motherfucker like Christopher Columbus, right? Whole different frequency and energy and mindset that a motherfucker gotta have to have Pluto and Aries. You like, that's some old crazy shit, because these are the energies that you need to create a fucking world that generations can live in, to which we're just basking in what motherfuckers have done with way more powerful energies in particular frequencies, such as Aries, such as Taurus, such as Gemini. We can get a minor reflection. I was on some, I don't know, that was a phase, Jack, I tell you. However, Gemini is the sign of being crazy. Sidereal Gemini. So it looks like this for me. My moon is in Cancer and tropical, but my moon is in Gemini and sidereal. So with that being said, I can look at it from both angles. What we begin to process is that I can either be the crazy person, or I can be the person that is at peace with self, or at peace with my soul. I'm gonna say that one more time. I can be the crazy person, I can be the inventor, I can be the rapper, I can be the musician, I can be the artist, I can in tune with my soul, I can deliver different frequencies out to the world that people have never heard before, never seen before, or I can go along with the status quo and go fucking crazy, and look crazy, and feel crazy, dress crazy, sound crazy, be crazy essentially, because I am disconnected and I lack security because I gotta listen to everybody else. I feel as though I need to listen to everybody else because without their judgment or approval, I'm gonna be homeless in the streets. So this all then ties into the stagnation and insecurity that we all face, and then how to address it. If you are stagnant, if you are insecure, there is nobody for which that can propel you further. There is nobody that can protect you stronger than the understanding of your soul. I promise you, to which you begin to do the things that you want to do that piss people off. And then you have them resolve and deal with their pissed off energies. And I know that there are levels to it to which you say, well, I couldn't necessarily do that to my mom or dad because they really kicked me out the house and I really don't got nowhere to stay. So the idea thus is moving into a space of journaling, moving into a space of storytelling, moving into a space of true Gemini communication, finding a healthy outlet for your frustration. This is where you get your orators, your rappers, and comedians, to which you cannot do the things that you want to do all of the time, most of the time, 100% of the time, you would think, but you can always express yourself in a true sense. To which, when you express yourself in a safe, artistic, poetic, creative way, the more you do it, the better you get, the easier that it is to resolve your insecurity, to which you are more secure in yourself because you trust yourself. You know yourself. You're in tune with yourself. But if you're relying on someone else, mom, dad, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, you're not able to fully see this energy in its full expression. Because I'm going to tell you what, speaking of putting the horses behind the cart, when you deal with relationships, even the relationship to our parents, these things don't occur into the 7th house. Meaning that the sun in Aries is personal. The sun in Taurus is personal. The sun in Gemini is personal. Sun in Cancer, you start to deal with family and nutrition and feeding people and things of that nature. You start thinking about wealth and love. So you begin that inner transformation of what these things begin to look like and examine. And you see how delicate and intricate the personal process is of self-discovery. One would not jump into relationships with other people as fast, or one would not cast shadows on our parents and declaring that they should have done this or done that, when the reality of our lives, our consciousness, is built on an understanding of a mechanic of how to fully ingrain and in tune with the different variations and functions of self. And it's never going to be a point or a person where a person has projected themselves onto another person to the level of, you should have done this for me. To which this is a matter of ignorance, this is a matter of insecurity, and a matter of stagnation. Because what tends to happen when you say all of these energies in reference to what another person was supposed to do for you or what they should have done, you're also not doing shit to propel yourself into the realms of greatness. Because even if you were to figure out what they were to should have done, how they should have, tossed your salad, how they should have massaged your feet and things of that nature, they long gone now. So by the time you done figured it out, what is that information going to do for you? To now figure out, okay, I should have had parents like this. I should have had parents like that. I should have had a boyfriend like this. I should have had a girlfriend like that. How does that help you? What is the solution? But then again, you're doing that because there's pain there. You have to resolve it. So if like all things, you have a power cord. You try to stick that power cord in a girl. You try to stick that power cord in a boy. You try to stick that power cord in your dad. So I had a good conversation with my mom the other day. I had a good conversation with my grandma the other day. It's not going to satisfy you in the realms of the sun in Gemini. To which that power cord, with all of its well intentions, does not get plugged into a human being. This is where the vampires and psychic vampires and all of the energies that exist in Gemini is because individuals do not know where to plug up their cord. You have to find an outlet. You have to find a plug. Into which you stick it into that. You then find the source of the creation. So these begin to be more shamanistic practices, more of automatic right and more of psychic functions. And then one say, well, how does that person be so psychic? How does my reader so intuitive and things of that nature? Because your reader is in tune with their intuitive sense. They're in tune with their psychic sense. They're in tune with their psychic gifts, to which they could stand there on the website and charge X amount of dollars every single day, and people sign up and people have conversations, not because they're in tune with their customers or client base, They're in tune with themselves. They can go to a psychic fair. They can post up. They can do the same thing to strangers who don't know them from an atom. Whether they're pulling cards, whether they're reading your aura, doesn't necessarily matter what tools, divination tools they use. The reality is that a person who is of sound mind and sound body and sound soul has a level of psychic powers and psychic abilities because they're in tune with themselves. So very simply, the mind, right, the body and the soul is encompassed in the energies of Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. To which I would say, before you get into a relationship, one would have to have a sound mind, body, or soul, or you're not actually giving your partner anything of value, to which you might be taken from them, and this is a tough pill to swallow. To which, when we don't swallow our tough pills, let's call them crazy pills, we then have mental breakdowns and mental anxieties. Because the thing about energies is that they have to balance themselves out. There's a reason that Aries opposes Libra. It's a reason for Gemini being an air sign and Libra being an air sign. Our ability to understand that the mind is all is our ability to exist triumphantly, to which our horror stories and our lack of awareness and our ability not to connect to source is the reason for the negative occurrences in our life, to which if we ever wanted to tap into a solution, we have an opportunity every 13 moon cycles, every 12 sun cycles. We always have a time to in-tune and tap into our soul, to which we get the energies and information and answers that we are seeking. And I know it seems as though you need to read books, and I know it seems as though you need to learn from people, and I know it seems as though the external is providing you a powerful solution that your internal could never. But I'm here to say, without a shadow of a doubt, I put my life on it, that your internal process, your ability to connect with your soul far outweighs any connection that you could establish. No boy, no girl, no husband, no wife would ever exist in the realms of establishing a deep relationship with your soul. Making it a point, making it a priority after you deal with your passions, after you deal with your body, then you deal with your soul. And I don't make the rules. I'm just following the sun as it transgresses throughout the days. I'm referencing the sun energy because the sun is ubiquitous as we have this conversation. For the majority of us Westerners in the United States, as we have this conversation, we can bear witness to the sun, meaning that it's an influence on our ability to see, our ability to express, our ability to learn, and our ability to grow. Because with light is the ability to kind of understand things. That darkness doesn't give us that same understanding. So I would hope that we could tap into our inner processes over these next 28 days, next 30 days, however long the sun is going to be in Gemini. We'll keep up with the study. We'll keep up with the observation. And for the most part, if there is a level of stagnation. So this is another thing that I wanted to say, judgment and critiquing is a waste of time because nobody knows what you've been through. So if you are serious about your spiritual journey, your soul is very specific on, let me show you what I can do for you. Before you vest your energy into another person, invest your energy into me. Listen to me. Trust me. And then, as you begin to progress in these particular energies, you will level up, and trust your level up. Never compare yourself to anybody else. Understand that you've leveled up. Remember last year you was crying, or remember last year you was fucking with that no good ass nigga. You started listening to nigga videos and things of that nature. You started tuning into your soul. That nigga done disappeared. You don't know where that nigga at, right? You trying to find that nigga, sometimes that nigga done disappear so hard on you, right? So the reality is, the more that it ain't the videos, it's the processes and the applications and the understanding that your star body is your power body. And I'm saying it all to say, this is just training wheels, right? You gonna take the training wheels off one day and you still gonna have your soul. That's what I want to stick with you. That's what I want everybody to understand. It's never, ever going to be about me, ever. It's always going to be your personal understanding and your internal processes, to the point that when you vest and hold these things so tight and so true, they begin to bear witness. They begin to produce the actual fruits. And when people just look at all of the fruit and all of the abundance and prosperity surrounding you, there is no question to how you manifested it. You connected to your soul. You was the crazy one for a little bit, but you needed to be, right? You need to be a little crazy. You need to be a little off. You need to be a little different. But at the same time, you got to seriously understand that that's other people's opinions on you, and you standing in your truth. I'm standing in my truth, and I'm crazy to people, and that's okay. But in the meantime, in between time, I'm going to listen, and listen deeply, and listen intently. And then be very aware of the people who stand in between you and your soul. Because then you get a clear picture of the people who do not need to be in your life, for which a person who can only cast negative judgment to you is not going to benefit you long term. To which everybody deserves the opportunity to in tune with their soul within a 24-hour day period. You is nobody's slave. You understand? In reference to that, I'm about to head to the crib and make sure my wife has some time to herself as I begin to do my daddy shift. So, peace to the family, peace to y'all. Be prepared for Hood in the Morning this Monday as we deal with more Sun and Gemini concepts. Thank you for supporting my channel. Shadow work is available. The course is available. Limited space available. The more people sign up, the less opportunity you get a chance to sign up, be in a live class. Because once the seats are filled, they're filled. Shout out to everybody that's helping out. Chakra Nova podcast is on YouTube. If you want to hear a very, very interesting conversation between men and women, and I hope that episode 13 takes that energy and builds upon it, because I'm just here for the authenticity of it all. So I love y'all, and I'll see y'all on the flip side.
Doing it